Morning, folks. Would-be farmer here, Central Florida. Now that I have embraced permaculture, and that's been a goal of mine the last few years, now that we have this beautiful land, and we are doing our best to turn our entire acre plus into a productive food forest. I've been toiling with the idea of animal manures. And since I became a vegan in the early 90s, you can probably see my dilemma here. Yes, I know I often mention going to the forest for inspiration for my development of the permaculture food forest. And in the forest, the rich forest ground is made of leaves and twigs, rotting wood, animal carcass, animal products, animal manure, etc., etc. So, the dilemma, when I'm trying to get to increase soil fertility, when I'm trying to get my soil to the point where it can be productive, wouldn't it make sense that I have to bring in those things that are prevalent in a natural forest? So I would need to bring in manure. So that means I am bringing in animal products. Okay. Well, all the critters that run around here, birds primarily, they're going to drop all their manure here. So the question is, since, for example, I've got this area fenced, do I need to bring in deer manure, cow manure, ruminant animal manure? Well, recently picked up a copy of Will Bonsel's book on sustainable farming with minimal petroleum products and animal inputs. I think it's called The Essential Guide to Sustainable Farming, or something similar. Great book, good insight. And he brings up a great point that animal manure is a byproduct, it's a finished product of the plants. When we think of bringing in horse manure or cow manure, we're bringing in a byproduct after the animal has extracted all of the life force out of the plants. So that would be secondary at best. We also hear that from many experts that the best compost product is natural green leaves, which has a ratio of about 30-to-1 carbon to nitrogen, and that is pretty good. For an example, wood chips have 300, 400-to-1 perhaps. Did I get that right? Anyway, so my point is, maybe I should just go with all the biomass that I see in my forest here. For example, there's camphor trees running all over Central Florida, which aren't native, and many argue that they're displacing many of the natural trees here in Florida. So maybe I could trim those down, trim down some of the other trees that I really don't need in my landscape, that aren't that productive for me. The lantana, I can trim those down, chop those leaves up. Caesar weed, well, it is a great backup for toilet paper, and technically it's edible. There are so many, and I don't need all those, so maybe I could chop those up, use those. So my concept of chop and drop with the concept of chop and drop, where I take some of these unwanted plants, chop them up, throw them out there on top of the soil, let them decompose naturally, provide a good nitrogen boost. And I don't have to worry about bringing in tons of outside products. And of course, if I go to Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever and buy this organic fertilizer, this organic inputs, organic manures, that's all in plastic. That's petroleum. Petroleum is not sustainable. And you know what? I'm not growing petroleum here. So I, at this point, am no longer going to bring in manures, bring in animal manures, bring in any outside fertilizers to our lovely Garden of Eden. Garden of Eden. Garden of Even. Did I screw up? It's Garden of Even. Anyway, that's it. I know I mumbled. I'm half asleep. I probably should do a little wake up before I do a video. But anyway, have a good day. Would-be farmer, and I'm out.